in the days when the tribes of Israel were yet young, and the promise to Abraham still unfolded in distant, divine echoes, there lived a man named Ashbel, the second son of Benjamin, grandson of Jacob, and great-grandson of Isaac. His name, whispered in the ancient scrolls of Genesis 46 verse 21, bore the weight of a legacy carved into the hearts of the 12 tribes. Ashbel was born in the land of Canaan, but his destiny, like that of his brothers and father, was caught in the tide of events that would lead the family into Egypt. His father Benjamin, the youngest of Jacob's sons, was born under sorrowful skies, for his mother Rachel had died bringing him into the world. That sorrow left a scar upon Benjamin's soul, one that molded how he raised his sons. Among Benjamin's children, Ashbel stood apart. He was not the strongest nor the loudest, but he carried a quiet authority, a thoughtful presence. While others ran with youthful pride and brash laughter, Ashbel observed. He listened. He asked questions no one else dared ask. He was drawn to stories, to dreams, and to the unspoken pain that lingered in his father's eyes whenever the name Joseph was mentioned. He grew up hearing of his uncle Joseph, lost, presumed dead, only to discover in time that Joseph was alive, not only alive but exalted in the courts of Egypt. The moment when the family reunited with Joseph was etched into Ashbel's memory like fire into wood. He was a boy then, wide-eyed and full of wonder, watching as tears flowed freely between brothers once torn apart by jealousy. When Jacob, their aged patriarch, journeyed to Egypt to see his beloved son once more, Ashbel was among those who accompanied him. The caravan of 70 souls traveled through desert paths and shadowed hills until the fertile lands of Goshen came into view, a land unlike any Ashbel had ever seen. The Nile shimmered like a river of gold, and the bounty of Egypt promised relief from the famine that had clawed at Canaan. In Egypt, Ashbel came into his own. Though far from his homeland, he embraced the calling of his heritage. He became a voice among the Benjamites, a bridge between the old and the new. He taught the younger ones about their ancestry, about Abraham's covenant, Isaac's obedience, Jacob's trials. In a foreign land, Ashbel nurtured the flame of identity, keeping the faith of his fathers alive beneath the towering temples of Ra and the bustling markets of Pharaoh. He lived in the shadows of greatness, among men like Joseph, the dreamer-turned ruler, and Judah, from whose line kings would one day rise. Yet Ashbel never sought renown. His greatness was quieter, in his counsel, in his integrity, and in the way he taught his children to honor the God of Abraham even while surrounded by idols and luxuries. Generations later, the descendants of Ashbel would rise as part of the tribe of Benjamin, a tribe known for its warriors, like Ad and Saul, and its devotion to the land of Israel. Though Ashbel's name appears but briefly in the scriptures, his legacy coursed through the veins of those who would stand for justice, fight for their land, and defend the inheritance promised to them by God. And so, Ashbel's story remains, woven not in conquests or miracles, but in the steady faithfulness of a man who remembered who he was and whose he was, even in a land not his own. His voice may be lost to history, but the echo of his life still whispers through the stories of his people, the songs of the tribes, and the scrolls of eternity.